Hello everyone. In today's video we are going to start our chemistry lesson 2 chemical changes and reaction, which is a very important chapter, and this is what we call the alphabets in English. These are the alphabets of chemistry. Very important and is needed till you continue to study chemistry. So let us see what things we have to study here. But before going into deep, we have to understand what is a physical change and what is a chemical change. Then only it will be clear for you. So let us see what is a physical change. Here in this picture you can see here we have solid ice, which is the solid form of water. When we heat it by the process of melting, this solid ice will become liquid water. Again, if we warm liquid water, it will change into gaseous form, which we call water vapor, by the process of evaporation, isn't it? So here no new things are formed. Here it is a solid form of water. Here again we have liquid form of water, or here we have the vapor form of water, isn't it? So no new things are formed, only water is changing its shape or its form, isn't it? Now what happens if we cool this vapor? If we cool this vapor, again the gaseous water vapor will change into liquid water. Again with cool liquid water, it will change into solid ice. So the net product is water itself. No new products are formed, but water is changing its form or state, and such a change in which the form of the substance is changing and not its chemical composition. Chemical composition means water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. There is no change in these elements. All of them contain the same element. Chemical composition remains the same. No change in H2 or the hydrogen or oxygen molecule. No change in it. Same thing, but it's changing its shape or form. And such a change is known as a physical change. So what is physical change? Physical changes are the changes affecting the form of a substance or the shape of a substance, but not its chemical composition. We are not getting any new substance with any new properties, but same thing. That is physical change. Okay, now let us see what is a chemical change. Here we have two columns. First column shows chemical change and second column shows the physical change. Now in chemical change, what we have done here, we have taken a wood log, isn't it, and we burn it. After burning, we can see that the wood log is no longer there, only a pile of ashes there, isn't it? Can we take it back to the wood? Can we make it like this? No, it is impossible. So when we burn a wood or a paper, it forms a entirely new substance called ash, isn't it, with a new chemical property, new characteristics, and most importantly we cannot take it back. That is, wood will not be formed from it, or the property of wood and the property of ash is entirely different, and both of them are different products also. And such a change, which is a permanent and a new product with new properties are formed, is called a chemical change. Now let us look at the second column. Here we have taken a whole lemon. Once we cut it, only the shape of the lemon changes, isn't it? We can make into pieces. Is it becoming an apple? No, never. It will not become an apple, but it will remain lemon, only its shape is changing. Such a change is called physical change. Once more, another example, a chemical change, only new products are formed. In a chemical chain, new products are formed with new properties from there, which is not like their reactants. Example is combustion. Combustion means burning, rotting of fruit. Once a fruit is rotten, it is gone. Rusting, then digestion of food, isn't it? All these are taking place and we have seen it in our daily life. Examples of chemical change. Physical change, when ice melts, it forms liquid form. Once again, if we keep it in freezer, it will again freeze to form the solid form. Shredding of paper, once we shred it, same thing we are getting, but the shape of the paper is changing. It is not become any plastic, isn't it? So only the shape or form is changing, but not its chemical composition. Such changes are called physical changes. We have already seen. Then a chemical change is a permanent change. We have seen that it changes permanently. We cannot go back to its original shape. chemical composition is changed, new substances are formed with new chemical composition and different properties. We have already explained it, isn't it? Now, what are the characteristics of a chemical change? Exam point of view, it is important. For theory part, points we have already discussed. First one, a chemical change is permanent and irreversible. We cannot go back to its original form. That is the first point. The composition of the substance involved in a chemical change changes. We have seen that composition, wood changes to ash. Its chemical composition is entirely different, isn't it? It changes. Chemical change is either exothermic. Sometimes when a reaction takes place, heat is released, and such a reaction in which heat is released is called exothermic reaction. And sometimes if a reaction is to occur, we have to give heat to it, or we have to heat those substances, then only the reaction will proceed, and such a reaction is called endothermic reaction, where heat is absorbed or heat is used up. And a chemical change follows law of conservation of mass. We have seen that the amount of or the mass of the reactants is always equal to mass of the products. So a chemical change always follows law of conservation of mass. We have seen this already in the first chapter. And another important note you have to keep in mind, a chemical change always involves a chemical reaction. Okay, if a chemical change has to place, then chemical reaction definitely take place. Then only chemical change is visible. Okay, now what is a chemical reaction? Chemical reaction means, before that we have to tell what is a bond. Now if you are going to a new school or a new place, you are making a new friend, then you are developing a relation between you together, isn't it? That is called a bond. A relation between two places, two person or two things is known as a bond. So when a chemical reaction takes place, a bond is formed between, a relation is formed between the elements or the reactants, and new bonds to form new substances or product occurs, isn't it? In a chemical reaction, new substances are formed when two or more elements come together. Okay, so chemical reaction involves breaking those bonds in the reactants and forming an entirely new bond and a new product. That type of process is called chemical reaction. So a chemical reaction is the process of breaking the chemical bonds of the reacting substances or the reactants and making new bonds to form new substances or products. Okay, that is chemical reaction. Breaking bonds, combining in a different way, forming a new thing with new property. That process is called a chemical reaction. Okay, now the next question, how this is possible? How a chemical reaction will take place? So in order to a chemical change or chemical reaction take place, the elements or the particles should collide with each other. If collision is there, then only chemical reaction will take place. This collision may occur when the reactants are in close contact or by giving energy to them. We are giving energy by heating them or by keeping them in light. That is how we supply energy, isn't it? Then only a chemical change or a chemical reaction will take place, otherwise no. So in order for a chemical change to happen, or in order to a chemical reaction to start, the following conditions are necessary. First one, mixing, or the reactant should be in close contact. If the reactants are made into a solution by mixing them each other, then chemical reaction may start. If we heat those reactants, putting them together and heating, then chemical change will start. If we keep those things in sunlight, certain reactions need sunlight to take place. Photosynthesis is the best example of a photochemical or photolysis reaction. Using electricity, sometimes for a chemical reaction to take place, we have to give electricity. Such reactions are known as electrochemical reactions. In electrolysis, refining of copper, in order to separate the impurities from copper, we have, or to get pure copper, we use electrochemical reactions. By applying, increasing or decreasing pressure, chemical changes or chemical reaction may take place. Then using a catalyst. A catalyst is a substance which increases or decreases the rate of a reaction or the speed of a reaction without taking part in the reaction. Such a substance is known as a catalyst. They will increase or decrease the speed of the reaction, but they will not take part in reaction and form products. Such substances are called catalysts. Palladium, different things are there. Detail you will study in later classes. So these are the conditions necessary for a chemical change. Hope you are clear with it. Okay. Now we have seen that when chemical reaction takes place, bond or a relation between the elements take place, and the product also have a new relation or a new bond between them. So what is a chemical bond? It is the association of atoms or ions to form molecules, crystals and other structures. And these chemical bonds can be formed in two ways. First way is one of the element may lose one electron and the other element may gain electrons, thus having a positive charge. Atom which loses electron will have a positive charge, and the element or the atom which gains electron will have a negative charge, and both of them will join together to form a new compound. And such a bond formed by gaining or losing of electron is known as an ionic bond. This is known as an ionic bond. The bond between ions is an ionic bond. Another type of bond is, here no atoms or element gains or loses electrons, but they share the electrons with each other, thus forming a compound. Best example is water. We know that hydrogen needs one more electron to become stable, and oxygen needs 2 electrons to become stable. So what happens is, hydrogen will form a bond with oxygen like this, and they will share their electrons among them. Okay, and here also one hydrogen atom will share 1 electron with oxygen, and thus oxygen will have 8 electrons in its outermost shell and hydrogen will have 2 electrons, so that they form a stable water molecule. So such a bond formed by sharing of electrons is called covalent bonds. So ionic bonds, covalent bonds. Covalent bonds, no gaining or losing of electrons, but sharing of electrons. Ionic bonds involve losing or gaining of electrons. So this is chemical bond, and the rest we will study in next video. If you like my class, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. We will see in the next video. Thank you all of you.